Listen, your workspace, the place where you actually get your work done, can have a big impact or a big influence on the productivity you have, thus having an influence on how successful you are in whatever you're trying to do. So how do you make your workspace more productive? How do you improve your workspace? How do you make your workspace work for you? Well, I'm gonna share some tips about how I improved my workspace and why I did each thing that I did. Tip number one is to create separation in between your workspace and between your places of leisure. So that's like where you sleep, where you watch TV, where you do other things outside of work. So fortunately for me is that I have a house now with a space that I was able to put a separate office in. Now I didn't have that before. So in that case, when I didn't have a separate space, I would either make a bedroom that separate space and move all the TVs out and just move distractions and other things out. Sometimes I wouldn't, which is why I'm making this point, because sometimes I just leave it in there and get distracted, or I'd go to sleep or whatever the case is. But the main point here is just to having a separate space just helps to reduce friction in your workspace where you can get distracted. Like if it's in your kitchen or something or near your kitchen, you might get distracted and go wash the dishes. Like you know what distracts you. So anything that can be a distraction, the point is to try to separate it from your workspace in whatever way that means for you. Point number two is your actual equipment. And I don't want to make this about like money and just buying a bunch of little fancy tech and stuff, but like finding ways to get multiple screens, to get a better computer that fits your needs, anything to reduce the friction in your work and make your job easier to do, make you more productive. So for me, having two screens is a must. Now, I didn't always have like these two studio monitors that are like, kind of costly, but at times like this monitor here is from Goodwill for like $10. So, whatever the budget is at the time in my life, I could always get another monitor, and you just got to be willing to go to Goodwill sometimes and go to places where you can save money. There's always ways to save money. But just making sure you have the equipment you need that can basically reduce the work that it's going to take to get to a flow state, to get to a productive state. And so that may mean buying a better keyboard or a better mouse or a different keyboard, a different mouse. Some of the other equipment I have here is this self-heating mug. So my coffee doesn't get cold. And what that does for me is just this tiny thing of me not going to get coffee can just help me stay in a flow state and help me stay super productive. I have my music here, so that just kind of keeps me sane and just keeps me in the room, keeps me in here, makes me more comfortable, and it doesn't distract me as much. I have the keyboard and mouse I want. Maybe I'll change those out. Have the Mac Studio, which is a powerhouse, but I didn't always have this. Like I've had cheaper computers, more expensive computers. It just, just something that just doesn't get in the way of what I'm trying to do. And then I have this is a cube, a timing cube for the pomodoro technique. That's what it's called, but like basically it's a cube and you can switch this cube around with different numbers here to do different times. And it'll start a timer. I have to click this button on the back, but it would start a timer based on the minutes that I flip it to. And what that allows me to do is take these breaks, because we all still need breaks, but it allows me to take a break and have a timer for it. So I could take a 25-minute break, or I can work for 30 minutes, then take a 10-minute break, work for 50 minutes, take a 20-minute break. Like I can do it like that to where I'm always time boxing my breaks and my extended periods of work. And then over here, I just have this board here that just puts all my stuff over here that I like, accessories and things that I need just at hand to just go grab really quickly. And another tip is just to make sure you got your lighting right and the mood right in here. So like I said earlier, I have the Apple Pod for the music. I have lighting in here. I have the little strip lights behind here. I have the strip lights over here in this section. And this section just give me kind of just make me feel good to be in this space. The plants, the picture frames, all this stuff is just additional stuff. But it matters. Like it matters if you're in a space that inspires you, or you're in a space that feels clean and feels cool and just makes it feel like you're working for something. You know what I mean? Like you're working in a good, nice space and it just keeps your hair clear. It's not cluttered. It doesn't smell. It isn't weird. You know, so that's why I put this stuff in here. Some of the stuff that I worked with over the years just give me good feelings, good memories. Sometimes just having that little good feeling and positive mindset will get you through some of those hard times and keep you working as hard as you can. So my next tip is to talk about the furniture here. So here I have a chair, which you want to get sort of like an ergonomic chair or whatever. Something that's not going to mess with your back, because if you're feeling uncomfortable, and as we get older, you know, we start to have more pains and stuff, you want to make sure you got a chair, like you're just not sitting in a little folding chair. Like you got a chair that actually not going to hurt you over time. It's going to keep your posture straight. Because any little distraction like that is just going to kind of mess up your workspace and kind of make you want to go lay down, you know, like. And then here I just have my stuff hanging up over here, book bags and stuff. I guess this is not so useful, but it's just something cool to have in here just to keep everything organized. I don't feel like I just got stuff all over the place, even though it's kind of like dirty over here. The other thing is this desk, man. So like this desk, got this from Ikea. I probably could have spent $1,000, $2,000 on something like this if I just bought it from a store all put together. But basically what this tabletop is actually a 9-foot countertop that's supposed to go in the kitchen. But I just bought it separately, and then I bought these desk drawers, like 2 of them, put it on both sides, and just literally just put the countertop on top of it. And I bought like a little support pole in between, just to, because there needs to be support there in between based on how heavy that top is. But that allowed me to get enough space in this office for my personal workstation. So when I'm working on my personal projects, side projects, studying, you know, anything I'm doing for myself, and then my laptop for my actual job, day job, and the 2 screens that they provided, and the whole setup over here. So what I can do is just simply slide this chair over to the other side of the desk when I'm working for my home, you know, my home projects, versus when I'm working on my day job stuff. And so that helped me, because what I used to do is have to like swap the screens out and like, you know, unplug one computer, plug it into the other one, and all this like, I don't know, all this like weird trade-off that I used to have to do, I don't have to do anymore. And so, I mean, I guess I could like just plug the laptop into these studio monitors, but when I first set this up, I didn't have these studio monitors. I had like an iMac over here, so I couldn't just switch over the laptop. But I kind of like it better like this, because I actually can just like in the middle of the day, if I'm taking a break from here, I can just jump over here, do something, look something up that I don't want to actually look up on this side over here. And man, it's something about separation, man. Separating your workspaces. Like I don't want my personal stuff to feel like my workstation. You know, it just when you have that mental separation and physical separation to aid the mental separation, it just helps a lot, man. So I suggest it if you're able to do it. Not everybody is able to do it. I wasn't able to do it at one point, but if you can make it happen, like, I think it's worth it. I mean, I'm sure some people don't like it. It's like, it's too many screens and too many, like, why you got all this set up? It's perfect for me though, you know? And so it's not about just doing this. It's about doing what's best for you and just finding innovative ways to do so. And then I saved a lot of money just buying this whole thing from Ikea. Like if I tried to buy this from somewhere else, it probably would have been like $1,000 or something. So, you know, using some cheaper resources in order to get what I need here kind of helped me out a lot. Personally, I work as a software developer, so I need a space that's conducive to coding and researching things in order to help me start the code. I don't think it'll ever be perfect, but I try to make it as frictionless as possible to achieve my goals. I took a lot of my philosophy from Atomic Habits, which is a great book about building up habits, but atomically. So one habit at a time, and just building up the habits until, you know, using tiny pieces of changes in order to build up the habits in a more successful way. Looking back, it took a while to work up to the workspace that I have now. At first I thought it was all about money and buying all these different things, but as I got a little smarter what I needed to do, there's ways to get what you want at any level of budget, no matter where I was financially. So I think that's about all the tips I have. This is the works. I'm still working on some things here. This is the workspace I have now. I still need to put some frames up in here and put some pictures on this wall over here and probably change this fan out eventually. But for now, this is what's working for me. I'm enjoying it. But let me know what you think. What makes a workspace work for you?